Sorry for those who didn't show up. We just pushed record. We've only gone through a few slides, but you can review them in the deck that's there. We're gonna go ahead and push record now. All right, so everyone who's with us, if you can get into this Jamboard link, I dropped the Jamboard there. And let me refresh it. I'm here. And it should have, I updated it. Great, we've got people putting this in. So I want you to take a minute and drop in what deliverables or products will students create in your project that you're designing right now. There you go. There's the Jamboard link again in the chat. And also, if you want to access this main slide deck, I will drop that in again as well. All right, so there's the Jamboard and the main slide deck. Now I'm just going to have to find out who put poster boards and what kind of thing you're putting on them, since I've now gotten on my poster board soapbox. I'm guessing you are likely a marketing or maybe a science class who's doing that. Who's our poster board fan here in the club? See, it's also anonymous, so they may not say anything ever. Start moving these out of the pile. All right, is anyone particularly excited about theirs and wants to unmute and share a little bit about the deliverable that they're having their students create? Or a quiet group. Maybe we'll ask you after. So let's see, we've got a huge variety here, and I love the level of variety that we are seeing here. So we've got written pieces like journals, books, stories. I'm curious, is stories like children's books? When back in the day when I taught math very briefly, I'm a credentialed in too many things. Don't make this mistake. I'm credentialed in foundational math, which is everything up to algebra, chemistry, biology, and geosciences. So then they started like, you get things thrown at you in a crazy way. But oh yes, children's books. I did a math project where they had to create a children's book that was like a proof. So in mathematical proofs are like these baby step-by-step explanations, right, of why you know, this angle is the same as that angle, or you know, a variety of different mathematical concepts. And because a proof really steps it out so like slowly, each page of the children's book was like the next piece of the proof, and they had to create visuals that match their proof and their storyline, and basically explain geometry to little kids. And then we went and read the books to kids. So that was a fun project that brought math in. Models of a utopian society of human survival. I love it. Oh, we've got a few utopias here. So you're probably in the same project, or everyone just really wishes we had a utopia these days. Okay, portfolio website. And as you're thinking about this, as earlier we kind of were doing the warm up, and maybe not everyone's here, but we did talk a little bit about that concept of like the skimmer, the swimmer, and the diver. So as you're thinking about the product your students are making, you know, again, what if somebody was to interact with your project for less than a minute, could they get something out of it? It's harder with a podcast. Maybe with a story, there's like a little bit, oh, I saw the cover, that's kind of cool, you know, but what draws them in becomes like not the clickbait, but the headline for what it is. I love infographics. I think infographics are a great component of a project, because it does turn things into something visual. And it's also something we see so much because of social media, because of early interactions, and our brains are really wired well to interact with data in a visual way, instead of a audio way. All right. No, this is great. I don't think I've even read all of them. So take a moment right now and just read all of them. And if anyone else has a question about any of them, if you could put that in the chat. If you're like, oh, who's doing weekly school messages? What does that mean? How did you convince the bulletin folks to let us do this? And maybe you are the bulletin, the team doing the bulletin. Are those weekly school messages audio or visual or part of a newsletter? Is a curiosity I have. So maybe take a look. Is there a question any of you have about the products you see here that you might want to ask others? And you don't only have to hear my voice. So you can drop this in the chat, or I'm watching the participants. You can raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask questions as well of your peers here.
The weekly school messages would be audio, and it'd be part of the morning message, and it's going to be part of the research stemmed from our student club, and then pushed out through ASB.
Perfect. Perfect. And what do you teach? What's the class topic?
So this is a blend of a couple different classes. So my colleagues are, one is science, one is engineering, one is English and ASB and history. And then I am the special education teacher. So we're tying together the idea of mental health and wellness and trying to better our community.
Perfect. Very cool. I like that, because it also has that inquiry piece of continued engagement, because anytime that we're working on a project, that deadline just feels far away, or a one and done, it kind of has a very finite existence for our students. But when they're participating in something that comes along weekly, that has the audience of their entire campus, that they're going to hear themselves and be part of the audience, that's really helpful. All right. So as we kind of move forward here, what I do want to give you a chance to do is to connect with somebody else who is here in the team. So I'm going to create, what do we have? 40, we'll make like 22. Well, 21 breakout rooms. Don't include the co-host automatically. Perfect. So I know some of you are a whole group in a room, and some of you are alone wherever you are. So this could take a lot of different forms. But if you're a whole group in the room, I believe that you are a project group, as far as I've heard. And so what I want to do, so if you're a whole group, then pick somebody who's going to elevator pitch about your project. And then I want you to share with the other group what deliverables you'll make. So it should be about a minute per team to share, and then take a few minutes. And this is a fun, really simple feedback protocol called tag. So you can say, all right, students, we're going to play tag. At the end, you can tell something that you liked. You can ask a question, and you can give a positive suggestion. So in a class, you can just say, we're playing tag, and then like, all right, who has a T, who has an A, who has a G? Or in a smaller group, you can ask them each to like come up with their whole tag, right? As something you liked, ask a question and give a positive suggestion. All right. So we're gonna play tag, but look at this now, because and hopefully you have this open, because obviously when you go in the breakout rooms, you don't see my slides anymore. And then these are kind of your thing. I'll give you 5 minutes in there. So 1 minute, or like about 30-second elevator pitch, plus talk about your deliverables for a minute, and then about a minute to get that feedback, and then some transition time, and then the other group. So it'll be 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll go ahead and open the rooms.
Hi, Joel. I'm a whole classroom Zoom window, so my people are getting on individually, but
Oh,
I don't specific. So I'm a whole window
that's fine.
to our Lincoln world.
Whole
So
group could be one of the two people together. So your group can talk about your deliverable, and then the other person can talk about theirs, whether it's an individual or a group. So it's okay if you're a group.
do you want me to still go into the Zoom room, or do you want our people to just do this together?
Let's see. Otherwise, you'll leave someone. Let's see. We've got a few singles, so let me put those together. So you guys want to just do it where you are?
That would be easier for us.
Fine.
You want me to tell my people?
Yeah, I'll just move this person up.
Okay. Okay, yeah, to say Cassie is in, I've got some people at home and then some people that are here.
Okay.
So guys, if you're.
Yeah, she's got a couple of groups at Lincoln.
Perfect. Okay, they're all together at Lincoln. All right. And then it looks like a few of you all are here having a hard time getting in. We've got a few not joined, so let's see who's alone.
If you need, I can hop in.
Yeah, if you want to see who's.
So I joined, but the person in my breakout room just kept their video off, and I think they were genuinely having difficulty with the sound, but it was just two of us and a little uncomfortable. So.
Hello?
Oh, there.
Hi guys. I don't know what's going on with my sound. I can see things, but I can't hear anything. Let me try to leave and come back.
Perfect.
I don't know what's going on.
At the end of the day, the exhibition is really theirs. It's not just what the teacher planned out for them.
I think that it's an equity of voice issue within the classroom to ask students what they think and ask them for advice. But I also think it just makes the work more real and more accepted by the students as you ask them to do really difficult things.
Curating student work along the school hallways and the classrooms and like in every little nook and cranny has a dramatic impact in school culture because the students know what the school is about and they take pride seeing their work in public view, especially when you have guests touring the school and they see their work. The students can get really confident that their work is up there being exhibited. It also shows that we do care and value what they do. It doesn't just go in the trash can when it's done, but we give it a life and it goes beyond the classroom and we put it up and it's shown with all these audience and viewers.
All right. So what I want to have you do is jam back over to the Jamboard, and then on the third page, which is our last page, tell us like where and how are you having them exhibit their work. And it may actually be very much aligned to the audience you just said, right? In a classroom, at lunch, it may be at your district-wide exhibition. Is there anywhere else that you're having them exhibit their work? And so add that here to the last page of the Jamboard, if you would. Great. I feel like we're going to have a lot of folks that I like. Pretty much all of you, I think, are required to do the showcase. Is that right, or is it an option?
The showcase is the culminating event for the PBL Institute. So we expect to see everybody there, and it's a celebration of student work. So there may be exhibitions that take place at school sites prior to the CTE showcase. In some cases, there may be demonstrations and exhibition at the showcase, but the showcase is a place where students get to talk about their work. So they may have previously exhibited, or they may be exhibiting at the showcase, but we want to hear about student learning and students talking about their experience going through this PBL experience and exhibiting.
Perfect. And I think that's really an amazing opportunity too, because as we think about that feedback cycle and the ability to continuously improve, if you have another opportunity for student work earlier in the year, maybe you're going to the school and you're reading the books, or like I see this haunted house with scientific phenomena. If you're doing these projects, a lot of times that culminating exhibition is the end. And so the feedback they get from that goes in that round bin on the way out the door, because no one asked them to do anything else with it. So if instead you have, at whatever your earlier opportunity for them to share their work, whether it's on the campus, I mean, when I was looking at the page before here, nobody's audience was, oh, whoever shows up to exhibition night. You did have a thoughtful audience in mind. And so as you're looking here and where they're going to exhibit their work, whatever your opportunity is that they are sharing, maybe it's a business plan and they're going to show it with local businesses, give them an opportunity after that to improve again before that final showcase that's going to happen in May.
Yeah. Joel, can I add one more thing?
Yes,
or just
please.
kind of expand? So the showcase is kind of near and dear to my heart, because CTE puts that on, and Christopher is a big part of that as well, because our work begins with the institute. The showcase is a perfect place for a student to not just talk about the project, going from the idea to the the execution, but also what was it like to address that audience, to and maybe receive some feedback. If your project needs an audience, the showcase can be that. But there's a lot of teams that have done this for many years, that they have an audience, like we identified on the previous slide. You have presented the work to that audience, there's feedback, and then the students of the showcase are talking about what they learned. And that learning does not end with that final presentation. That learning continues, in many cases is improved, and then shared with our audience at the showcase. So please, please, please do not begin your ideation of what the showcase is or what it can be for you by thinking that the showcase is a place for perfect projects. There are no perfect projects, and the project that was meant to go right and ended up going left, we want to hear about why it went left and what were the findings that led the students in that direction. So we want to see you at that event, and it's a really, really great time. If you haven't been there before, just ask someone that was there this past year. We had a fabulous experience. Okay, I'm done.
No, absolutely. I think that's really helpful. One of the challenges, though, for the showcase is it's a big space, and it's unlikely 170 of your students will all be able to have a meaningful opportunity to share their learning. And so giving them an opportunity ahead of time to really dive into that's part of your class, that's embedded, and then bringing them into the showcase to speak about it is probably going to be more powerful than just saying like, oh yeah, and then at the end at the showcase you'll present it. I'm surprised as I look at any of this, nobody is saying like the internet, and now you do need like parent permission and things like that. But I often see students exhibiting their work on a website, on a portfolio. It was interesting. I was working with a teacher last week on a project, and he's an automotive teacher, and he's doing whose fuel, like which fuel do you pick at the pump? And so like, then we're talking about audience, because at first he was just going to have them each do like a presentation in class on which fuel that you should pick at the pump. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes when I'm at the pump, there's a video player that's like yelling news at me or whatever it is. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if your students like made content that could go on that video player? So then we started talking about making a QR code, and maybe he could put that on the pump of, if he worked with a local gas station, and you could go like which one to pick at the pump, and they could like scan it, and they'd get the student video on like how to pick which fuel you should put in your car at the pump, right? And so don't just pick it because it's cheap, but like what's the advantage of picking like the more expensive gas, or what is this like other ethanol fuel over here for and why? So you don't just have to think about an audience that you have full control over, but you can also partner with industry partners on creating an audience at their own space that might work with them as well. So I see a lot of folks who are great, a short story, yes, and like books, they can put them at the library too. So you can have those authentic community audience. Like, where do people go for books? They go to the library, they go to bookstores. And so even if it's not long-term, you could work with the library to have a day where your students are there. What if your students did a book signing at a library or at a bookstore? You know, those are authentic and engaging opportunities for students. All right, so we have about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to give you a chance, and I think I'm just gonna just reopen the same ones and then see if we can fix some of the, or maybe should I just mix you up and you get someone new? Breakout rooms. But this is another model here for feedback to rise, help somebody rise up in the work that they're doing. It's very similar to playing tag, but maybe it feels a little bit more rigorous, or could be used a little more. So you can use this or not. Ooh, somebody says a larger group. We only have 9 minutes is my challenge. So if I give you too many people, but I could do groups of 3. So where are we at? 35. So if I did like 11, let's do 11, and then we'll see how that works. If and then some, at least you'll have 2 people hopefully, if and not be left alone. And so just think about, what does exhibition look like for your project? So give that 30-second elevator pitch and include exhibition this time. So you can hear a little bit about what other people are doing for exhibition, and feel free to give that ability to reflect on what they just said, inquire, ask questions about their project, make suggestions, and then elevate. So those like, ooh, have you thought about in the future doing X, Y, or Z? So let's go ahead and open all rooms and give you a chance to rise together. All right. We had some fall off, maybe. All right, so I think everybody has about at least 2 who are in rooms, and we have some folks who maybe are stepped away. And then Sleepy Beauty, just always stuck with us. What's your product that you're looking at creating?
That's Mr. Chris Deere. He's with the Lincoln team.
All right.
He
You might just have like a, it's like, it almost looks like he's got like one of those loop videos going. He's staring at the screen. That's fine. Well, it looks like at least.
Chris, can you hear us? Are you good? Oh, maybe you can't hear us.
Oh yeah, he was having trouble with audio earlier. Wasn't that him?
Maybe. I work a lot with Chris and his team member Eb on their PBL project. it's a media arts English literature collaboration.
Devin, if you do hear me, you should see it right here on the screen, the rise, but really you can kind of interact however your group sees fit.
I love this slide deck. This is a great slide deck.
Thanks. I talked to Chris a lot about, you know, I think you were there the last time when we talked about assessment, which doesn't line up as well with the new push and unified, and was maybe not the right fit for this part of the week. So we revised and went with deliverables. And so hopefully it seems like people are interested.
Yep. No, I mean, generally this session and even session one this year, 2022, has been much more aligned with the needs of our teachers, and you know, which makes sense. Christopher and I last summer, it was our first time through. This is our 4th session now, so
Yeah.
this is our project.
Well, and that's your iteration. We are doing things differently this round than you did earlier this summer, and
very much so.
If people like, let's see, we're at 5 minutes now, so we'll put on All right, I think I need to close all the rooms or else we won't be out by 10. All right, I think we've got everyone back. And so with our closing here, I did want to share, so we've done some work at the county office around project-based learning, and we have a ton of resources, and you can find them at sccoe.net/PBL, but you all have your own PBL resources. I just wanted to make sure you knew that we've been building some. And so if you're still digging in for more on any of these topics, you can find them on our website. want to say thank you for your work today, for being here before school even starts, and for really investing in your students. I am looking forward on Friday. I will be coming by to kind of see what your, as you're having your own mini exhibition of project. And so I'm looking forward to seeing in person some of the work that you all are doing. And hopefully this has helped you be thoughtful about how you can power up your project as well. So I'll stick around if people have questions, but I do want to honor the time. I think you have a lot of the rest of the day to work in your project groups. Tom, did you have any next steps for folks?
No, next steps is project development the rest of the afternoon. There are a couple of groups that I'm going to be swinging by and seeing in person, just as with our check-ins are in person this week. And if we don't get to you today, we've scheduled time later in the week. As Joel was just saying, project pitch at Lincoln High School and exhibition prep this Friday, which will be exciting. And I think the only other thing I wanted to say was, Joel, thank you so much. This is awesome. And we appreciate your time and coming here to present this today. This is very, very helpful.
Absolutely. And I'll stick around. So if anyone does want to chit chat about their product, I can hang out for a few minutes, and otherwise have a great time, and I'll see many of you on Friday.
Yay. Thank you. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions with your team today. Christopher and I will be monitoring email and text messages.
Perfect.